my book has finally arrived that I was talking about the other week, Rachael Cruze, Know Yourself, Know Your Money. And so there's the first stage, she's talking about your childhood classroom to money. And so she talks about it in the sense of, she sort of breaks it up into a quadrant. And so I'm going to explain them to you, and you can say which one you reckon was you. So growing up, she sort of breaks it up from a stress. So in terms of emotion, being stressed or calm, and then in terms of verbalization, closed or open. And so a stressed and closed environment would be anxious. Stressed and open would be unstable. Closed and calm was unaware, and calm and open was secure. And so you can sort of look at those, and she sort of explains them a bit. I was looking at and going, for me, it was probably unaware, so closed and calm.
What does this explain that?
So in relation to your household's relationship with money, so the way that you were as a child were perceiving or not perceiving things around money through the interactions of your parents and the household environment. So for some people, they might have heard their parents expressing a lot of anxious thoughts and feelings around money, or maybe it wasn't verbalized, but it was felt through, when you ask for this and you get a really harsh no, or no, we can't afford that, this way, and so for me, I think mine was probably unaware, in that I never stressed about money, but I never really thought at all about it or heard much about it.
Right.
It was the sort of thing that mum and dad were on top of it, sort of thing. We didn't have heaps of things. We didn't have lack of things, so for me, and so the thing that made me realize that was, it was saying someone that grew up in the unaware category probably has the approach to money of, she'll be right.
Yeah.
And it's like, you haven't got a plan for it, but you're not anxious about it either. So, and that can lead to, you've sort of got a bit of a blasé, it's going to work itself out, but actually money doesn't sort itself out. Something will happen. What would your first thought be in terms of your...
I don't know that I could have a single thought. I think...
And they're not necessarily in the extremes, because like I wouldn't say I was in an extreme unaware, because I did have pick up some things about money. Like for me, the big thing that I probably picked up from my mum was saving. Mum is like extremely prudent, and mum and dad being separated now, you sort of see a different contrast between people's spending habits that when they were together probably wasn't as extreme. But like when I look at mum now, she is like so prudent with her money. She'll literally like map out like how many dollars a day she'll spend on petrol. She's like, I know that I can get from here to there, and that's my petrol quota for the day, sort of thing. Like, whereas dad's a lot more free flowing. It's really interesting.
Yeah, mine was probably a journey. So I can remember, can you just show me the quadrant again? I can remember when it was, I guess in quadrant 2, which is unstable, although I don't know that I'd use that as the overall descriptor, but certainly there was stress and there was a degree of openness about that, where going into marriage, neither of my parents had much financially at all. And then when I was a small child, our house burnt down in a bushfire and they had even less. And then watching my parents work incredibly hard, take a couple of calculated risks in terms of some investments, and have to work really hard with high interest rates just to be able to keep up with those investments. And in those years before the investments paid off, and just trying to keep up with the loans and things, there was hard work and certainly a degree of stress and probably tiredness and stuff, but that was associated to the hard work, and there was not a lot of money getting around. And I know that, there would even, and I actually think it did us some good, but I can remember as young kids, if we wanted brand name shoes, mum would be like, well, I'm paying this much. That's what I think is a reasonable amount for shoes. And if you want to spend more than that, you can save your own money up to buy them on top of that.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't have it.
Yeah.
And then in later years, though, I saw the payoff of that and the discipline and the hard work that my parents did. And so, you know, they're certainly not rich by any stretch, but they're very comfortable.
And the thing that they stress is that you can be in a secure household that doesn't have a lot of money, or you can be in an anxious or unstable family and have heaps of money.
Right.
Because it's more so about your approach to it. Do you have a plan? Are you feeling in control of your money, or do you feel like it's controlling you? Do you feel like you never have enough? Is it something that causes anxiety? Is it something that's a stress? Is it a pain point? Is there fear surrounding it? Because, you can have not a lot of money, but there's contentment, there's gratitude, there's peace, there's understanding of and working within a budget and you know, using your money as efficiently as possible.
Yep.
Yeah.